Just going to go over the process and how to make your own pulley rigs. You're going to need a few components. One, you're going to need some line for your hook length, some line for your main rig body, decent swivel. This is an 80-pound swivel. Some rubber beads. Don't have to use them, but they help protect your knots. These ones in particular have a large hole one side and a small hole the other. Large hole is designed so it sits over the top of the knot. Gonna need a bait clip of some description. This is one of the breakaway imps. You're going to need a pulley device of some sort. Again, this is a breakaway proper pulley. You can use a swivel. I prefer not to because swivels wear and can break under a decent cast. Even good quality 80-pound ones will wear and will break eventually. And then, of course, your hook or hooks of choice. So, to start with, take the rig body and tie it onto your bait clip. Now I'm just going to do these knots quickly. Normally take a lot more care and time when tying my knots, and make sure to wet them. If you're making a lot of them, a lot of rigs at a time, you can also use cooking oil instead of saliva to lubricate the knots. Makes it a lot easier and you don't end up with a dry mouth halfway through. So, tied on our imp. If you're going with beads, thread on your bead, your pulley, then your other bead, then tie on your swivel. Bear with me a moment. So that's now the main part, the rig body done. Now as you can see, the pulley mechanism can slide up and down, and the idea is when you hook your fish, the pulley, which is attached to your main line, pulls one direction, the fish pulls the other, and your sinker, which is normally attached on this end, is pulled off the sea floor and out of the way any possible snags. Next, take your hook length and your hook and attach that. Now you can get creative with your hook lengths, add coloured beads, sequins, floaty beads to help lift the bait off the bottom, or you can just leave it as a plain hook. For this, I'm going to leave it as a plain hook. Now, as long as you make your hook length shorter than your rig body, the rig will always be able to clip down and stay tight. So, one of the easiest ways to do it is hook the hook into your bait clip, pull the two lines tight, and then cut your hook length at the same point as the swivel. That way, once you've tied the knot, you'll lose a certain amount for the knot and it'll stay tight and end up shorter. If you are making a lot of them, you can make your own rig board, which is basically a board with a bunch of measurements and hooks on it, and then you just run the line out to where you need to, cut it, and repeat. that's the way I make my, when I'm making them, is I put them on that way, so that way all my rigs are the same size and are all consistent all the way through. So that's it. That's now our pulley rig done. We've got our hook length and our rig body. So if we attach a sinker, now this, bear in mind, this is easier doing it from if your rig's attached to a rod, because it'll keep it all in a nice straight line. But for here, just hook it onto the bait clip, run the two lines out, take the pulley in the other hand, and then that's it. So it sits like that at the end. You can see the blue's the rig body, the black's the hook length. Runs through nice and tight to the hook at the other end. And then when you hit the water, the little plastic clip on the bottom of the imp will flip up, and it'll ping off your hook length, and you'll have your sinker laying there and your hook length next to it. When you hook the fish, or hopefully hook the fish, as you start winding in, your sinker will be lifted off the sea floor like that, out of the way of any snags. And that's all there is to do it. All there is to it to make pulley rigs.